Welcome back to my second video of the day. I completed my first hour on the treadmill, and that was 3.2 miles. I'm currently on my second hour on the treadmill, the 35-minute mark. Let's see, lower the pace. I was at 3.2 miles per hour. I'm down to 3 and 3% incline. I had to stop and refill my bottle of water, so give it some moments. This will be my second bottle. But my second video, I want to talk about, or I want to share, what do I do? What other things do I do other than worry about my medical condition and focus on my health and well-being? Well, I collect Social Security disability income, which we all know isn't that much, and I was collecting long-term disability income through my employer when I got diagnosed, but that stopped when I began a new job. And so a month later, I get injured, and so I'm on workers' comp. And so I collect that every month. But I didn't earn that much. It was kind of like, that job was sort of kind of like to get my feet wet, get back into the workforce, get into the rhythm of working. It wasn't designed to be anything long term. And I made it clear in the interview that I was looking for an easy job. I emphasize that, an easy job. I've been out of the workforce for 4 years. Just kind of want to get back into the groove. So, and no intentions of getting injured, but accidents happen. And so that was 4th of July last year. And so what I've done since then, I need to stay busy. So I enrolled in a college course, and I actually got certified as a medical assistant. And I'm not sure if I'll ever take advantage of that certification. I thought the hospital, that's where I worked, at the hospital, and I thought they were going to offer me a light duty position, but they never did. Never did. And I was surprised because there's a big demand for medical assistance. And my certification is recognized nationally. So very surprising that they turned me down. And there was a clinic about 10 minutes from where I live. They had a posting 20 hours a week. And I thought, hey, perfect. But surprisingly, they said no. And I went, okay, well, they paid the tuition. And I know if I paid someone's tuition, I would, it's kind of an investment, and you want a return on your investment. And that's kind of the reason why companies, organizations offer educational assistance. They expect something in return. But it was an interesting course. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of medical terminology. And I learned about all of the specialists, urologist, and I have a nephrologist. I have an orthopedist, orthopedic surgeon, and now I have a cardiologist, and so there's all kinds of podiatrist, urologist, and so interesting. And so I don't ever see myself doing it as a full-time job, but you never know. You never know where the path in life takes us. But so I completed that, and but also what I got into is stock trading, buying and selling stocks. And I've heard of people doing this and never showed much interest. But when you're at home, you have a bit of free time, and I spend a lot of time reading and watching YouTube videos here on the treadmill. I learn. Yeah. I like videos that teach me something, educational videos. And so once you start watching a video, a YouTube video on a certain topic, well, we all know how the algorithm works. More videos, similar videos will pop up. And so I just started watching all these videos regarding the game of buying and selling stock. And that's what I've been doing now. Yeah. And so I've been doing it now for about 2 years now. And it's a good thing. I mean, I do the traditional savings and long-term savings and for the day that I'm old and I can't work and I'm not the type who is anxious to not work anymore. I spent 7 years in Thailand and I worked as a high school teacher. I taught English. Also taught primary math, elementary math. And it was the greatest 7 years of my life. And so great that when I came back to the US in 2015 that I actually enrolled in college and earned a master's degree in education. And I can easily see myself returning to my other home country one day and spending my final working years teaching. And I still teach English right now. I teach English online. I don't get paid for it. I just do it because I have relatives in Thailand who would like to improve their English skills, and having an American who could teach them. American English is the number one English in the world. You know, British English, nope. Australian English, nope. Everyone wants American English. And I'm happy to provide what I grew up just naturally learning. And we do it over the video. And so that's also what I do. And but this buying and selling stock has become really interesting, and it's almost a form of gambling. It can get addictive, and I admit, I checked the stock ticker several times. What's going on? And we all know what's going on now. We've got this war in the Middle East, and man, this is a good time to buy stocks. And now keep in mind, I'm not selling anything. I'm not giving advice. My channel's not even monetized. I care less about that. I just like to share, what's in my life, what I do. And but I've learned about the Magnificent Seven. Not the movie, but the Magnificent Seven stocks. Those are the top stocks. I think, let's see, you have Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Google, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, Nvidia, and I might have missed one, but just Google up the Magnificent Seven stocks, and they're all low. They're just because of the war. And so you want to if anything, if you're not knowledgeable, own, if you can have 10 stocks, 10 stocks in the top 7, the Magnificent 7, the knowledgeable people say you're in good position. You're in good position. And the volatile stock right now, when I say volatile, it's like just going up and down like a yo-yo. It's oil. I mean, it spikes and drops. And so I own stock in 2 different oil companies, and my God, you need to learn the patterns. And I'm on to them. And just observe them. You don't have to buy, just observe them. MSN Finance, that's a good website. Yahoo Finance, Market Watch, that's a website. They have an app. I think all these websites have an app just to observe what's going on. And some people regard the stocks as, a legalized Ponzi scheme. And, and buying oil, selling oil, buying stock in weapons manufacturing. Some people describe it as blood money, and I see it. I definitely see it. But war is a part of life. And I understand the whole concept of being a wartime profiteer, but people just don't care anymore. And I'm never one looking to get rich. I have 2 cars. I have a 20-year-old Honda. That's my little run around town car. I have a 33-year-old Jeep 4-wheel drive. That's my snowmobile, my go to the mountains vehicle. And I'm good. And my wife has a Honda, newer, and we're good. Our 3 cars are paid for, and the only recurring monthly expense, other than basic utilities, is our mortgage. We live in a condo, and 50-year-old condo, but solidly built. I would argue that our condo is much better constructed than these newer homes, and much better constructed. And in fact, we had an earthquake a few years back, a 5.5, and buildings fell down. But I actually felt it was about 7:15 in the morning, maybe 10 after, and I was actually awake. That was before I got diagnosed. I got off work at 6 a.m., came home, I ate, I showered, I was sitting in the bed, just kind of winding down. The building shook. I went, whoa, what was that? And first time in my life I'd ever experienced an earthquake. And we have a bicycle downstairs, and it fell down. And so I hopped out of bed and ran downstairs and picked up the bicycle. My dog was shaking, just shaking. And I calmed him down. And it took a few minutes for him to calm down. But yeah, the bicycle actually fell down. A few other things fell down, but it was no structural damage at all. But actually, buildings not far, maybe 10 minutes from here, actually collapsed. And I'm thinking, wow. So it was a 5.5. And so I was diagnosed in 2021. This was about 2019. I'm thinking this happened. So about, give or take, a year. And Salt Lake City, it happened. But there's a video on YouTube that I'm going to download and react to it. But these newer homes, I'm talking homes that are close to $1 million. The structure, the foundation is cracking. I'm talking like 2-3 inch cracks. brand new homes. And I'm thinking, what's going on over here? There's one scene where they put a basketball on the floor and it just rolled down the hallway. And I went, Jesus, it's not even level inside the house. And what a shame. And so I don't know if that can even be fixed. I don't know. But anyways, to go back to the stocks, that's what I want to make this video about. But that's what I like to do. It's very interesting. And so I'll keep an eye on that. And like I said, it can be addictive, but it occupies my time. I love to keep up with geopolitical events. And I don't lean any way, Democrat, Republican. I'm a dude on the street, you know, and when I vote, I just choose the lesser evil. They're all evil. I choose the lesser evil, you know, and there are no saints in politics, I tell you. It's a mean world. I couldn't handle it. But that's the way it is everywhere. I mean, just, you know, you tell someone, you know, I give you a word and tell me the first word that comes to your mind. Politician. Corruption. That's just, you know. And even in Thailand, my other home country, you know, no one has confidence in politicians. You know, they're all walking around wearing gold watches and necklaces. They drive these high-end cars, and you know, Thailand is a third world country. So, not a good look. You know, and even monks in Thailand, they're supposed to be like your very low living people, no materialism. I mean, they're quite monks, you know, taking flights, wearing Rolexes, living a lifestyle that isn't supported by the monkhood. And so materialism, it's really affected, you know, even the people who are supposed to be rejecting all that westernization, materialism, has gotten to them, you know, and kind of sad. But my goal in buying and selling stocks is just to see myself out, my wife and out, you know, the people that I'm related to in Thailand, to, you know, see if I can leave a little bit for them. And because I feel so privileged that my father, as a soldier in Vietnam, that, you know, when the war wrapped up, I was born in 74, the war wrapped up in 75, and the fact that he, you know, didn't just make me and leave, he made me and said, hey, I'm going to take this lady, I'm going to marry her, and I'm going to take her and my son to America. And it's a gift. It's a gift. As many bad things people say about the U.S. government, I feel blessed to be here. And I'm a proud American, and I'm a proud citizen of Thailand. And I'm thankful that my two countries of citizenship do not conflict. I feel very blessed, because if I were to choose between both countries, right now, I would choose America, because America is why the globe is as stable as it is. America. And I know people want to bash America, but America has done so much for this world, and bad things too. I'm not gonna, you know, our U.S. government, they're not full of angels, but I don't agree with everything they do, but I honor them. I don't agree with everything President Trump does, but I honor him. He's our president. He's our commander-in-chief. And if he gave me an order that I didn't agree with, I would still carry out that order, because I grew up playing sports, and I had a coach. I've had coaches tell me things that I didn't agree with, but I didn't argue. I didn't argue. I always listened to my coach. And I never quit and said no. I never talked about it. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I never protested anything my coach told me to do. And it's controversial. You know, protesting seems to be the thing today, everyone. You know, I mean, around me, they let high schools out early so the kids could go protest. I don't agree with it, but I'm not out there getting out of my car and complaining. I don't think kids should be involved in politics, but not my choice. But I'll keep straying away. I want to talk about these stocks. But if you don't know anything about stocks, the Magnificent Seven, if you can somehow get yourself to get 10 stocks of each one, they say you'll be in a good position. And now's a good time to buy because they're all low. Buy low, sell high. You probably heard that. Buy low, sell high. And I had 2 oil stocks today. And the magic period for me is 1:45 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because the trading, from what I read, I have to be wrong, but it closes at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. So, which means that at 1:45, I can do trades that go through instantly. Yeah, so I've been profiting off of this oil. I see the patterns, and because they go up and down, crazy. And so sell high, and sure enough, an hour and a half after I sold my oil stocks, they dipped. But I used the profit from oil stocks to increase my holdings in the Magnificent Seven. And what I did, I bought. So I now own 10 stocks of NVIDIA. I own 10 stock certificates of Microsoft. And that's my goal, is just to get 10 of the Magnificent Seven. And because one thing, I had an aunt and uncle who lived nearby. They've passed away recently, and they didn't have amazing jobs. They were retired, but during their life, their jobs weren't amazing. You know, my aunt was a school teacher, and my uncle just had a regular job. But he asked me one day, he said, "You know how your aunt and I made all our money?" And I said, "No, I don't know." He said, "Investments." And I said, "Oh, wow, that's cool." And he says, he told me to learn how to invest. And especially with jobs these days, you got to learn how to supplement your income through investments. And, I think if you can put aside an hour a day learning, studying, making notes, that's 7 hours a week. And that can come in handy if you did that. Or even 30 minutes a day. Start watching some YouTube videos, doing some reading, and learn tax liability. And, long-term stocks, the capital gains, you don't pay anything up to I think 100,000 about for a married couple. But the short-term gains, the tax bracket my wife and I are in, it's 12%. And my state, Utah, charges 4.5% capital gains, just regardless, long or short term. And so long term, it's a better deal. You just got to hold on to it for at least 365 days. And less than that is considered short term. And so we just kind of learned that, and just a good supplement. And because everyone is saying in what 2034 Social Security, um, we're going to take a big reduction in benefits. So we have to keep working. And I'm seeing so many elderly people in society working. It's so sad. So sad. And, but, okay. I completed my second hour on the treadmill. And finished my second bottle of water. So 2 bottles, 1.4 liters. Okay. Over and out. Always stay positive, and feel free to put your opinions in the comment section, good or bad, it doesn't matter. And till then, just take care of yourself, be positive, and always be thankful for living in America. Over and out.